Thank you very much for joining us for this call for the PBC on ESPN show on August 1 from the Barclays Center Brooklyn Boxing in Brooklyn. The show will be live on prime time on ESPN on Saturday, August 1st, with coverage beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. The main event of the evening is Danny Swift Garcia against Paulie Malignaggi. The opening fight is a middleweight title bout between Danny Jacobs and Sergio Mora. August 1 is the second PBC card on ESPN, and the first one's going to be Keith Thurman against Brooklyn's Louis Collazo. That's going to be on July 11th in Tampa, Florida. Tickets for August 1 are priced at $250, $150, $75, and $45, and are on sale now. They're available at www.barclayscenter.com, www.ticketmaster.com, at the American Express box office at the Barclays Center. To charge by phone, you can call Ticketmaster at 1-800-745-3000, or to get group tickets from the Barclays Center at 800-GROUP-BK. The opening bout is a terrific fight. Danny Jacobs is an inspirational fighter, a super talented middleweight, a guy that's risen to championship stature and holds a belt. He'll fight at the Barclays Center for the fourth time. Danny's road from cancer survivor to champion has been well documented, but frankly, at this point, he's beaten that illness, and he wants to focus to beyond his boxing career and on being the best he can be. And he's taking on a huge challenge on August 1, and Sergio Mora, legitimately one of the best middleweight contenders out there, and known very well as the winner of NBC's The Contender Series a number of years ago. Sergio's a former world champion at super welterweight, looking to add a middleweight crown to his resume. He owns victories over Ishii Smith, Peter Manfredo Jr., and Vernon Forrest, and enters this fight on a 5-fight win streak. And he most recently defeated Abraham Khan in February of this year on ESPN. So first, I'll let Sergio Mora say a few words before we go to the champion. Sergio?
Thanks, Lou. Hey, guys. Well, I'm excited to be fighting on my first PBC card. It's been a long time coming. The last time I fought for a world title was 7 years ago, and I was able to defeat Vernon Forrest at 4-1 underdog. I think I'm going to be an underdog for this fight again. I'm fighting a younger, stronger champion in his hometown. So defeating him is going to be, all cards are going to be stacked against me, and that's something that I've grown used to and accustomed to. There's nothing bad I can say about Daniel Jacobs, absolutely nothing. I look for something negative to say, and I can't. I mean, the guy has overall talent. He's probably younger, faster, stronger, and hits harder than me, and he has more momentum coming his way. He's on a 9-fight win streak, and he beats me in that as well. I have 5 fights going for me. But the thing that I can say is that he hasn't faced opposition that I've faced. I think he's an emotional, athletic fighter. I'm a cerebral, intelligent, strategic fighter. This is going to be a really exciting card because he's in his hometown, of course, and defending his world title. And I'm hungry for that world title, and I know that I'm going to have to be extra sharp and do a lot more than just have a close victory in his hometown. So I'm going to have to press the action and go out of my comfort zone, and I think he's going to have to go out of his comfort zone, which is going to make an interesting fight for everybody. I'm very confident coming into this fight. I'm very happy with the team that I'm with now and this opportunity. And I've always wanted to fight in Brooklyn. I always wanted to fight in a mega arena like Barclays Center. And I'm blessed to have this opportunity and part of this PBC movement. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. And now to the champion, Brooklyn's own Danny Jacobs.
Well, after that, Sergio's intro, I mean, what more can I say? I mean, that's pretty cool. But, you know, I'm excited to have an opportunity to, you know, be back at the Barclays second time around as a champion. So it'll be my second title defense. And it'll be against the most experienced guy that I've faced thus far. Looking forward to testing my challenge against a slick, crafty veteran. and Sergio Mora. But, you know, for me, I'm just, like I said before, I've always said that I'm just trying to get that experience, most importantly. You know, it's important to me as a young champion. You know, I'm not where I want to be as a fighter thus far. You know, you're still growing, you're still learning. And I'm looking at this as just a really stern test. And, you know, I'm trying to really gain as much experience as I can in fighting such a crafty, slick veteran. And he's been in this position before. So, you know, he's already accustomed to, like you said before, being in this position and being an underdog. And, you know, but I can't take him lightly, even though he'll be an underdog and even though people will pick me as a favorite to win. You know, I'm looking at him as the most devastating opponent that I've had thus far, you know, coming up to middleweight. So there's not a lot of fear as far as power is concerned, but where he lacks that, he makes up in his craftiness and his slickness and awkwardness, and, you know, sometimes he does gauge in an action as well. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's a really stern test, but something that I've been preparing for a while. I've been in camp, even though I've been working and doing my broadcasting, which I'm very happy to announce. I've been keeping in the gym. I've been keeping fit, and I'm really looking forward to this test. And to have it at the Barclays, I think it's not a better place in the world to have it. So looking forward to testing my skills against a crafty veteran.
Thank you, Danny. We'll open up the questions now from the press for Danny and Sergio.
Yes, sir. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if there is any questions that you would like to ask, please press star 1 on your telephone. Our first question is from Mike Wood with the Sweet Science. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the time to do the call. I appreciate it. Most of you guys, to one extent or another, are active on social media. I'm friendly with Sergio on social media, and it's interesting because you get no shortage of people opining about a matchup, good or bad. Sometimes people say, well, Sergio Mora doesn't deserve this, and we could find a better person to fight. And Danny Jacobs, we'd like to see him fight Gennady Golovkin. I'd like both of you to address when you receive this negative attention on Twitter and such, how do you deal with it, and what's your response to it? Sergio first. Woodsy, you sound a lot different than you type. Good or bad, I don't know. No. It's good to meet you over the phone. Well, listen, I've been dealing with this negative criticism for my entire career. It's something that follows me. I don't know if it's because I'm a reality show winner or because people hate the way that I go into fights, and I can't knock people out. I'm sorry, I wasn't born with power. You need to be born with power. If I had a way where I can inject power and knockouts and what people want to see into my arsenal, then I'll do it. But I can't go back and be another race either. I was born the way I'm born. I gotta do what with my abilities, and I think I've come a long way with all the other assets that I have. You know, lacking power, and I think that makes me an even better fighter. You know, it made me evolve into a different type of boxer. So these are the things that the boxing purists need to understand, and the outside fan needs to understand that. All right, well, listen, he's fighting a guy with a lot of power, but how come the guy with no power is actually doing better than the guy with power? Oh, because this is the sweet science, and that's how I become a champion for. So it doesn't bother me. I just continue educating people about the sweet science and letting them know that power is not the number one attribute to be successful. It's intelligence, attitude, it's technique, it's defense, body shots, it's strategy. It's following that strategy. It's hard, it's everything else is like power. So I'm happy to answer those questions to people that don't know. But people that do know, get over it. Good stuff. Thank you. And Danny, what about you? Responding to people who want you to fight Golovkin and say, no, Mora's not tough enough. You know, plenty of negativity out there. How do you deal with it now?
Well, I mean, I've learned since my return back. I mean, I've got a lot of criticism on my opposition as well. I've been facing people who wanted me to step up, people who wanted me to get in position to fight who they want me to fight. But, I mean, I'm past that point now where I care about, well, not to the extent where I don't care about what the fans think, but, you know, if you support me, I look at it as you understand the process. You understand that it's not going to come when you want it to come. And if you're a fan of the sport, and if you're a fan of myself, then you just go along with the journey. I want to step up. I want to be able to get in there with the best of the best. But obviously, with everything going on in the sport of boxing right now, I'm not really in control of certain things. I'm in control of who I step in there with, but to a certain degree. So I really don't tend to get into things like that. I just, I do what I do. I stay ready. As a champion, I conduct myself inside and out the ring, and whoever I'm in there with, I give my best. And if, like I said before, if you're a fan of the sport, then you're gonna like the fights regardless. It's all about putting on fights, and that's what I've been. I feel like I've been producing good fights.
Excellent, good stuff. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Do well.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Andreas Hell with Ring Magazine. Go ahead.
Hey, the question is for Danny. The last time I talked to you was before the KO2X fight. We talked about you having not gone the distance of 12 rounds, and that almost happened with Caleb, but you got the late TKO. Sergio's never been stopped before, so is it a challenge for you that you want to take on to be the first person to stop Sergio Mora, or is it pretty important for you to finally go the distance to go 12 rounds?
I think it's to address the Truex question. I mean, I intentionally wanted to go 12 rounds with Truex. I intentionally wanted to, because I felt like I could have stopped him a little bit earlier, maybe like in the 6th round, but it was something that I wanted to prove to myself. And knowing that I can go a full strong 12 rounds is something that I'm very confident with now, and I feel like I'm answering my question. So, the test with Sergio Mora is whether or not he can be stopped or whether or not I can go the distance with him. I mean, he's never been stopped before, so it'll be icing on the cake to be able to not only to defeat him, but to stop him in the match. But, he's a crafty veteran, and if I can take a win over a guy like that, I mean, a win is a win to me, but at the end of the day, it's like, what the fans want to see is knockouts. What the fan want is spectacular fights. So my thing is, if we could just produce a fantastic fight and a competitive fight, I'm content with that. But like I said before, a knockout is just the icing on the cake. But it's nothing that I'm looking for. But if it happens, I'm pretty sure I know how to get the job done,
And thanks, man. And for Sergio, a question for you. You've had a lot of experience going the distance, and you saw Danny's last fight. What do you think about his boxing skills, and how do they match up with yours, especially over the course of a 12-round fight?
That was a great question you asked Danny, by the way. I think you answered it perfectly. I would want to knock someone out like me, because it puts something on your resume that Vernon Forrest, Sugar Shane Mosby, two Hall of Fame greats haven't been able to do. So that was a great question. To answer yours, I think Danny possesses everything. Like I said in the intro, I think he possesses everything that I don't. But I have the experience. I think I take a better shot from a chin than Danny, and I think I follow my game plan more than Danny. A lot of boxers, especially a lot of young athletic fighters, they go out of their game plan once you see that it's not working. As a veteran, I know that it's not working initially. There's a beginning, a mid-game, and an end game, kind of like in chess. So you just got to stick to what you practice and don't go out of your element. And normally things go well for me. That's all I'm going to continue doing. Of course, I've changed some things in my strategy. I've changed some things in my arsenal on the way I see opponents and I go about it. But ultimately, I'm still the guy that has that ability to upset a champion, and that's who's going to be fighting August 1st.
Cool. Thank you, Sergio. Thanks, guys.
Our next question is from Dan Raphael with ESPN. Go ahead, Dan.
Thank you very much. Hey, guys. Sergio, my question for you is the last time you were involved in a world title match of any kind was when you had your second fight with Vernon. That's about 7-8 years ago. I know you probably didn't think it would take you this long to get into this kind of fight. Can you talk about your perspective on having it been a long time since you were at this level in terms of belt being available to you?
Absolutely, Dan. Well, anyone who's been around the game for more than 10 years, or not even that, anyone who's been around the game will know that this is a political game. And if you're not with the right side, you're on the wrong side. And then even if you are on the right side, there's another side that thinks they're right, and they're going to be butting heads. Very political business, and I think I turned a lot of people off when I fought Shane Mosley in an uneventful fight, but I took all the blame for that. And then after that, I was forced to go to Texas, the fight of Texas, and I came up twice short against Brian Vera, and then that just really took my career not only steps back, but in a whirlwind backwards. You know, I was getting all the bad media, I wasn't getting the right offers, and that's a good reason why fighters retire, because they don't have the offers coming in, and it could be really depleting and depressing. I decided to go back to the drawing board, start off with a new team, and have a new focus. And I realized it could change in the boxing as well. You know, the same people that were in charge of sport in 2010, 2012, they're not in charge anymore. You know, there's new players in the game, there's new dates in the game, and there's new opportunities. So because of all this new stuff that's been added to the sport of boxing, a person like myself has been able to make the comeback. And I'm not going to let it go to waste. I'm appreciative.
Sergio, do you feel like in a long career that for a guy that's only losses were 2 fights to Vera, who certain guys just have other guys' number, and a fight to Vernon, who was obviously a great champ for a while, that you get a bit of a bad rap?
In my head, in my stubborn, ignorant head, I'm undefeated, Dan. I thought I beat Brian Vera both those times, and I beat Vernon Forrest the first time. He beat me the second time. That's an even draw, you know. So in a way, no one's really dominated. No one's really beat me convincingly. So in my head, I'm undefeated. But yeah, I guess
undefeated, even including the second fight with Forrest.
No, he beat me, but I beat him first. So that's 1-1.
Okay.
So you know, there was no rubber match to see who really has more wins over the other guy. So in reality, Vernon beat me the second time. I beat him first. That's what I meant. It's a crazy business, man. I mean, people are waiting for you to just come down, you know. So I just watched today. I watched what I just worry about winning. But what's not enough? You really got to go out and watch other guys. Don't do the fight good thing, but guys like.
Now, when you fight Danny on August 1st, I'm looking over. You know, I've been seeing Danny fight since he turned pro. I don't think anybody would argue that you're the most experienced, best-known opponent that he will have faced so far. So when you take a look at Danny's record, what is your take on what he's accomplished or what you think of his ability?
Didn't you pick Danny Garcia to be a prospect future champion of the year back in the day?
Well, I had actually Danny was our prospect of the year a few years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, exactly what you guys thought. I think he's a special talent, and he finally became, he got a piece of the world championship, and he's recognized as a champion. So, you know, everything that people thought of him came true. Now that he's on top, he needs to fight top fighters. I don't think he faced the opposition that I faced and other champions have faced, and I think that's the only thing that he's limited in. So I'm going to be the best name on his resume, and we're going to see how he's going to be able to handle a guy as crafty as me and a former champion like myself. So here's a big test for him, and it's a test for me fighting a young, hungry champ.
Thank you very much, Sergio. I do wish you good luck on August 1st. I have a question for Danny. Danny, are you there?
What's up, Tim? Oh,
hey,
Dan,
how's it
going?
going?
Dan, my bad, baby.
Everything is good. My question for you is that you heard, what Sergio just talked about as far as him being the most experienced opponent that you have faced, a former champion himself, a veteran, crafty kind of guy. When you look over your resume of opponents that you've faced in your career so far, are you of also the opinion that this is, at least on paper, that he poses perhaps the most formidable test of your career given his experience and his crafty nature?
Well, absolutely. You know, coming into this thing, I even said that. I've mentioned he's the most experienced fighter that I will be stepping in the ring with. Former world champion, been in the likes with Vernon Forrest, Shane Mosley, a couple other guys. So, I mean, he has that experience. He knows what it is to go the distance. He knows what it is to be in a dogfight, you know. And like I said, I'm a young champion, and I haven't seen those things thus far. Like, I'm content. Well, not content, but, I'm okay with the fact that I haven't fought those guys yet, those top notch. But that's what I'm looking forward to. It's a ladder. You know, you can't skip the ladder. You can't skip any steps or you'll fall. So, you know, we're taking it a step at a time, and we're stepping up. And you know, each and every time you're going to see great opposition. I'm just looking forward to this one. You know, I don't take him lightly whatsoever, but you know, I clearly mark him as one of the toughest and most craftiest, experienced guys that, as a professional, I have faced.
Daniel, do you think that facing him when you get in there, that what will be the difference for you in the fight? You know, you just talked about his attributes. Do you think it's the fact that you're younger? Is it that maybe you're viewed as being a guy with much more punching power? What is going to be the thing that gets you over the top and helps you win this fight?
I don't know what will be the main thing, but I feel like I have a lot more advantages than he does in the fight. But whatever my advantages is and whatever gets me going, whatever, you know, will be the deciding factor for me, I will stick to. So if it's my speed, then I'll stick to using my speed. If it's my power, backing him down, showing him what a real middleweight feels like, then that's what I'll do. But it's all about adjusting and getting in there because, you know, not a lot of things may work according to the game plan. So you got to go to plan B, plan C, and so on and so forth. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what works for me, figuring it out, because it is a puzzle. It is a chess game when you find a guy like Sergio, and just making it work. But, you know, I think that's what a true champion does. You just adjust and get the job done.
All right, very good, Daniel. I wish you good luck on August 1st. Thanks for your time.
All right, Dan. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Ben.
Our final question is from Destino Lois with the Black Star News. Go ahead.
Danny and Latin Flag Mora, I've been watching you guys for years. This is Destino Lois Jr., Black Star News, New York. Sergio, you have fought, like everybody has said, you fought all over the world, and you fought many of the top guys who were world champion. But somehow throughout the career, correct me if I'm wrong, you've been labeled a spoiler who will not fight, who will give a guy a hard way to go. You did it to Shane Mosley and certain fights like that. But now that you got a second shot at a world title from the Miracle Man, what are you doing in training camp to get away from that label of spoiler and be directly concentrated on winning that title from Danny Jacobs?
Well, yeah, I've been labeled the spoiler. I've been labeled a lot of names that I actually consider as a good thing. You know, you could see as the name spoiler, you could see it as positive or negative. You can come in there, the positive saying that I'm going to go in there, I'm going to spoil Danny Jacobs' plans and spoil his team and promotions plan. And spoiler for the fans is the negative, that I'm going to come in there and speak up the show. I decided to go in there when these fights with Mosley and Vera. I decided to change my style a bit and actually engage a little bit more and be a little bit more offensive and take more chances to try to go for the knockout. So I think I've done that. You know, in my last 5 fights, I knocked down 3 of my opponents, and he topped 2. So I've kept my word, and I got this opportunity to fight for a world title again. With Danny, I'm going to do the same. You know, I'm going to try to go out there and do the same thing that got me into this position. You know, I'm showing that I can be slick and I can be crafty, but I'm also going to let them know that, hey, listen, I got this other side of my game too that I added to that slickness and that craftiness. So, and like Danny also mentioned, you know, if that's not working, then I got to go to plan B and C. So, you know, I'm going to give him different looks, just like he's going to give me. But I'm an excited former champion, and waiting to be a new champion, August 1st.
Well, that will include your sparring sessions with the hired guns that you're going to have to prepare you fully for a hard puncher like Danny Jacobs. I assume that's what you guys are doing. That's the strategy in camp. Almost like a military strategy. This is how I'm going to beat the enemy. So we're going to have the hired guns here to prepare me totally. Is that what your direction is?
Yeah, I like to have heavier sparring partners or harder punching sparring partners, but it's not all about the power, because even my sparring partners aren't going to go in there and hit me with that power. So I like getting guys with slickness, with speed, just in case Danny comes in there and he shows me a different side, I got to be ready for that. So I got younger guys, stronger guys, powerful guys, stiff guys, elusive guys.
Right.
And I like to mix it up.
Well, thank you very much, Latin Snake, Mora. And my question now is, God bless you, and my question is to Danny Jacobs. Danny, you are a tremendous, and I will say it now because you're on the air, you're a tremendous, articulate analyst. And, you don't really have to go to a public relations school or announcing school. You have a great announcing voice. I'm an old radio man for 40 years, and I recognize talent. But
Thank you, appreciate that.
When I'm saying what my direction is Danny now perhaps has seen the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, mind you, you're young. The light at the end of the tunnel, he says, wow, now let me build up this second career in announcing as my boxing career goes along. I'll fight and then I'll defend my titles and despite the criticism of the non-fight fan who has not put on a glove of not fighting the so-called picked by fans like the Triple G, Miguel Cotto, and Canelo and all them guys, I'm keeping busy, but at the same time I have my eye on the prize of a career post-boxing. Is that what your direction is? Because you are, like I said, you're a tremendous fighter, and at the same time you're a great announcer.
Well, thank you, sir. I really, really appreciate that. And I know your voice. I know I've seen you before, and we've done interviews before. I know that voice. But to answer your question, yeah, that's the game plan.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was our last question for the
amazing opportunity to be able to talk and give my side and spec side on a national level. It's one opportunity that I don't take for granted, that I'm enjoying doing. It's giving me a different perspective on a sport that I love. And it's something, like you said, that it can set me up for the rest of my life as something to do post-boxing. But, obviously not straying away from the main task at hand. I mean, boxing obviously is what I love to do, and it's the forefront. So I'm 110% focused on what we're doing actually inside the ring. But on my spare time and in between fights, that's something that I also like to do is stay busy. But the most part is building the brand. That's what we're doing. We're building the Daniel Jacobs brand, and I'm having fun doing it, but I'm taking it serious because boxing is a very short road, and I'm gonna fall back on as well. So I'm just trying to take everything serious. Try to give it the best that I have, and it seems like it's been working thus far. So God has definitely blessed me, and I'm just looking forward to everything in the near future. This opportunity to fight Sergio is a heck of an opportunity for me in my mind. I think it's one heck of a step up as well. So just looking forward to what life has in store for me in my career in the future.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to move on to the main event of the evening right now. Once again, this is Premier Boxing Champions on ESPN from the Barclays Center on August 1. It's prime time on ESPN, coverage beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Tickets are from $250 down to $45. Available at BarclaysCenter.com, Ticketmaster.com, the box office at Barclays, or by calling Ticketmaster or calling the Barclays Center. The main event is a classic Philadelphia versus Brooklyn matchup featuring two of boxing's biggest stars, and it's a must-win situation for both fighters. When Danny Swift Garcia takes on Paulie Magic Man Malignaggi, it's 12 rounds at welterweight at 147 pounds. Interestingly, both of these fighters participated at the Barclays Center inaugural boxing card in 2012. Danny Garcia, the former unified welterweight champion, made 5 defenses, junior welterweight champion, wasn't it, actually? Made 5 defenses of his belt. It'll mark Danny's official move up to welterweight, his 5th appearance at Barclays Center. And his last fight, he had a really tough win, a really hard-fought fight with Lamont Peterson. And on August 1, he has his hands full with Paulie Malignaggi, former welterweight and junior welterweight world champion, has a record of 33-6. It's Paulie's fourth fight at the Barclays Center. He defeated Pablo Cesarcano and Zeb Judah there, and he lost the close split decision to Adrian Broner. Paulie, you want to start by saying a few words?
Thank you, Lou. Yeah, I'm just really feeling blessed. The opportunity, it was an opportunity that I didn't see coming my way after pulling out of the O'Connor fight. But I had waited just back for the summer and then trying to kick things back up for the fall. And, just really trying to sit back and enjoy the summer more so than training and whatnot. And, this kind of opportunity just fell into my lap. It was like I said, it was unexpected, but I'm all about competing against the best. As surprised as I was, it was also an opportunity I couldn't say no to. It's a chance to, be back in the main spotlight, that kind of a fight, be at the forefront, which are the kind of fights that I crave anyway, and the kind of fights that really get my adrenaline flowing and get me motivated. Fighting one of the best fighters in the world today, and any weight, like Danny Garcia, it's a motivation to test myself against the best. I've always been one to want to test myself against the best, and so here I am.
Thank you, Paulie. Danny Swift Garcia still undefeated, 30-0 with 17 KOs. Danny?
How you guys doing? First, I want to say, good afternoon to everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day, and thanks for having me on this conference call. August 1st, it's going to be another great night, at the Barclays Center. It's my fifth fight there. It's my first fight at 147. I feel like this is a great matchup, stylistically for the fans all around the world. And, come out August 1st, I'm going to be ready. And I'm working hard. I'm training hard. And I can't wait to get in there and showcase my skills in a new weight class.
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
I'm sorry, Danny. Danny, before we open up the questions, you made a trip today to a children's camp.
Nope. That was Danny Jacobs. Let's open it for questions.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, if you have any questions, please press the number one. Please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Please hold while our questions come into queue.
Actually, I just wanted to ask Danny Garcia a question before we started with the queue. Danny, you were at a children's cancer hospital this morning in Philly?
Lou, that was actually Danny Jacobs.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Open up the queue.
Yes, sir. Our first question comes from John Mitchell with Philadelphia Inquirer. Go ahead.
Hey, Danny, how are you?
I'm doing good.
And Paulie, you as well. This question is for Danny. How do you feel, Danny, now moving up to welter? Do you feel that, this is where you really belong, you've been a little bit less comfortable fighting at 140. Just talk about feeling comfortable in, your first foray into the welterweight division.
It feels great. For the first time in a long time, I could worry about training to get better and not training to lose weight. I've been fighting at 140 my whole career, and I just feel like losing the weight was affecting my performances, mostly in the later rounds of big fights, because I would use a lot of my energy losing weight. And I think I'm gonna feel a lot stronger and a lot better at 147. I think I should have been moved up, maybe after the Matisse fight. But I'm here now, and I feel good. I feel strong. I'm training hard, and we're working on new things just to get faster and stronger at 147.
Do you think that the weight loss hurt you in the last fight at Barclays Center? Because you started off and it didn't seem like you wanted to trade with you through the first 5 or 6 rounds, but you kind of got his footing later on in the round. Did the weight loss hurt you against Lamont Peterson, you think?
I'm not making no excuses. He had a good game plan, but I just didn't feel, to be honest with you, I just didn't feel strong at that weight class anymore. Before, when I used to hit guys, I used to feel the power like going through my arms, and when I landed a shot, I knew I would hurt them. I just didn't feel strong at the weight class no more. I just felt like I was hurt myself, and that's basically it. It was just, I just didn't feel strong at 140 anymore.
Right. And one more for Paulie. Paulie, it's been a minute since you've been in the ring. Just talk about getting back in the ring after the Porter fight and this opportunity for you.
It's just like I said earlier, I feel blessed just to get the opportunity and to get a chance to continue to test myself against one of the best fighters in the world. You get antsy at a certain point when you're not in the ring for a while. At first it was just certain things going through my mind, and maybe I didn't want to fight, but as time went by and I started working out again, I started realizing that it was something I missed. It was something I was still craving, and I wanted to get back in there. And this year in particular, it's been different than a lot of years. I mean, people are going to talk about my layoff, but ever since I started making pretty good money in my career, I've never gone back to the gym after a big training camp. I've always had my fight, and then I've gone right back into hibernation and just hanging out. And not to say that I live badly with fights, because I don't, but still, not spending large chunks of time in the gym will affect your sharpness. And this year, not even by design, just on accident, I've spent almost the entire year in the gym, and I've been able to balance it out with all my travel with my commentating. And I was in camp for Don Ali for his sparring him for his last fight with Santana on HBO, and then I went right into my own training camp for Danny O'Connor, and I got cut just 2 weeks before that scheduled fight. So, and then I got called for this fight, not long after that. So, in reality, I've spent a large chunk of the year in the gym, which is something that hasn't happened in a long time, and I feel sharper for it. I mean, people are going to talk about the layoff. People are going to talk about the fact that, I haven't fought it so long, but in reality, I actually haven't trained this consistently in a decade. I mean, literally a decade. I mean, since I fought Miguel Cotto, I started making pretty good money after that, and I haven't stayed all year in the gym. Before that, I was in the gym all year, And like I said, I didn't even mean to do it by design. It's not like, it's not like I said, this year I'm going to spend the whole year in the gym. It's not something I planned. It's just something that ended up happening, going from one camp into another camp, and I guess just on accident. But I do feel the sharpness in the gym. I do feel the timing is really good, and and obviously my weight has come down. So that's a good feeling, knowing that I don't have to drop a lot of weight during the training camp, and just work on the sharpness and keep getting better. And look to show that on August 1st.
Okay, and real quickly, was there ever any serious consideration about retiring after the Porter fight, or was that just something that was floating around out there?
It wasn't even something I considered. It was just something that I felt like I was going to do. Right. I just felt like, I don't really want to do this. In the time, the way I felt, where my mind was at, it was just something I didn't want to do anymore. And so I think that's probably the best thing that happened to me in terms of thinking it like that. Not talking about the loss, but in terms of my mindset in that moment was probably the best thing, because if you start to tell yourself you're going to have a layoff and you're going to come back, in the back of your mind, you're never going to take that time off the right way. You're just going to be thinking about you should be back in the gym, or when's the right time to get back in the gym. But because I wasn't thinking that, I was just thinking, you know what, I'm done. I gave myself plenty of time to, kind of rejuvenate a little bit before I got back in the gym. And then I just decided, hey, you know what, I kind of miss this. I want to get back in the gym. So I think the change of my mind was probably a good thing, as opposed to just telling myself, you know what, I'm going to take some time off and then come back. I really didn't think I was going to come back. So when I took the time off, it was really like, a time that I was legitimately in my mind feeling rested and get myself rejuvenated without even realizing it, And then by the time I got back in the gym, it was like trying to rebuild and a new me, so to speak.
Okay, well, thank you, and good luck to you both.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Mitch Abramson with New York Daily News. Go ahead.
Hey guys, hey Paulie, how you doing? I had a couple questions for you. Hey, not much. Paulie, when the fight was offered to you, talk about, I guess, your thought process, and did you think that maybe this might be too big of a step up after you were going to be fighting Danny Connor after the long layoff?
I was actually surprised. First I didn't realize Danny was actually going to move to welter right away. I thought, I figured like he was having trouble making the junior welterweight limit, but I had heard rumblings that he still wanted to stay at junior welter for a little longer. So I was surprised just in general that he was moving to welterweight. And then, obviously I was surprised that I got the call because I wasn't, coming off the layoff. I thought maybe they would get somebody else, instead of me to fight Danny. But obviously, when I got the call, I was surprised, but it was almost like pleasantly surprised. And not because I don't respect Danny, because I do. I got a lot of respect for Danny and his family and his father and everything. But I'm a competitor, and it was just, I haven't had a big fight in over a year. So it's just like, man, this is an opportunity for me to kind of put myself back in the mix with one really good performance, as opposed to slowly getting back in the mix over the course of 3-4 fights. I'm 34 years old. I'm not 24, so I don't really have that kind of patience anymore, At the same time, when I got the call, I also realized how good I had felt in the gym sparring and how good I had been feeling in the gym just getting in shape and whatnot. So I felt like I could just flow right into another training camp, because I hadn't taken that long a time off after I had been cut for the O'Connor camp. I actually still kept up strong, actually. So my weight was still good, and so it kind of made sense on a lot of fronts. I didn't tell myself, it's a big step up after a layoff. I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it from more of a positive perspective.
Yeah, sure. No, I could understand that. And then last thing, I know I probably asked you this during that workout at Gleason's when before you were fighting O'Connor, but obviously facing Porter, all the health scare that you went through, and now you're facing a pretty heavy puncher in Danny. Are there any health concerns for you, or just heading into this fight?
I don't ever think about that stuff, man. You have to have a short memory in boxing, and that applies to both when you look good and when you look bad. So whatever has happened to you in the past it doesn't matter whether it was good or bad. You can't take that into the ring with you in your next performance. You're starting a new chapter every time you step in the ring for round one in your next fight. So on August 1st, round one is a new chapter for me, and so I don't think about what's happened to me in the past, whether it was good or bad. Obviously, the last fight was bad, but it's something that I haven't thought about in a long time, and it doesn't go through my mind.
Sure. Thanks, Paulie, and good luck.
All right.
Our next question is from Jeff Niebuhr with Philadelphia Daily News. Go ahead.
Hey, Danny, this question's for you. Obviously you're moving up to welterweight, first fight at welterweight. Paulie's not known as a big puncher. He's gone the distance in a ton of fights. Was this an effort for you sort of to kind of, I don't want to say ease your way into the division, because Paulie's a great fighter, but kind of, feel what a 147 fight feels like, and, a fight very likely to go the distance? What was your goal here?
This is a fight, that my manager wanted. He gave me the call. He made this fight. And like any other fight, he just asked me, hey, you want to fight this guy? And then we say, yeah, we want to fight this guy. So I didn't go up to welterweight and like, yeah, I want to fight Paulie because he's not a big puncher, because, fights ain't one off power, fights are one off skill. So, I don't choose the opponent. I'll aim and choose the opponent. But I think overall it's going to be a great fight.
And what are you looking for this fight to do in terms of advancing your career? Should you win the fight, what would be next for you? What are you aiming to do in this division?
I don't know what's next. I'm gonna take it one fight at a time. I got a task in front of me. I gotta go in there 110% mentally, physically prepared. And just get the job done. And after that, we can see what's next for me.
And this question is for Paulie. Paulie, how do you view a fighter like Danny, a former champion, coming up from 140, to 147? And what do you think about Danny, moving up?
I think he's a phenomenal fighter. I've even told Danny myself, early on I wasn't high on him, but I noticed that when he was in the prospect stages, he was beating some
really good names. Like, and he had a harder road up than a lot of prospects do, you know, in terms of the guys he got to fight. And, you know, he grew on me. And I started realizing, you know what, no, I'm not looking at this kid the right way. This kid is actually good on a lot of fronts, both from a physical perspective and from a mental perspective. He's very strong. So, you know, I've always had a lot of respect for him. But as far as moving from 140 to 147, he's no different than me. I mean, I was a junior welterweight champion, and I moved up to welterweight. So from that front, I don't even look at myself as a bigger guy or anything. You know, as a matter of fact, he's moving up to welterweight at a younger age than when I moved up to welterweight. You know, so his body's going into the division a little sooner than my body grew into the division. So I think from that point of view, we both have that in common, that we're both ex-junior welterweights. And I didn't turn pro welterweight, and obviously he didn't turn pro welterweight. So from a physical standpoint, I'm not looking at it as having any advantages. You know, obviously, skills win fights, like Danny just said. And it's just about matching up my skills to his skills.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Our next question is from Andreas Hill with Ring Magazine. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. First question is for you, Danny. Your last fight against Lamont Peterson, you got a little bit of criticism. The fight with Herrera, you got criticism. Then you're getting a lot of criticism. What I'm saying is, over your career, you've got a lot of it since the Matisse fight. Moving up to 147, do you really feel like you're going to be able to put a staple on a lot of people's mouths and shut them up about all the criticism that comes with Danny Garcia?
You know, I think that's just the luck I got in boxing. Because I've been the underdog before. And I won. And then it's like, he got lucky. So it's either I'm the favorite or I'm the underdog, and I win. It might not ever be enough, but you know, I can't feed into none of that stuff. I have to just go into each fight like I always am. Mentally prepared, physically prepared, go in there and get the job done. And you know, if it's good enough for the media and it's good enough for the fans, I'm happy. But you know, if it's not, I'm still happy because you know, it takes a real man to go in there and put gloves on and fight another man, you know, for 12 rounds. And it takes a lot of discipline to be in the gym for 10 weeks straight, you know, waking up every day, doing the same thing, you know, sweat, blood, tears, all that stuff. So, you know, I would love for the fans and the media to love me, but, you know, it is what it is. Like, they're tough on me, and that's what keeps the chip on my shoulder, and that's what makes me train hard every day.
Thanks, Danny. And Paulie, the question for you is that I know you've watched Danny's career. Against Lamont Peterson, it seemed like he struggled with the boxing and the skills of the Peterson. Herrera the same way, being crafty. Do you see those as advantages that you may have over him that Danny may have a little bit of difficulty with skilled boxers?
Well, I think styles make fights. So, you know, from a stylistic point of view, there are things that, you know, I feel like I'll be able to do against Danny, and I'm sure, but I also expect Danny to have made some adjustments since those fights. You know, when it comes to the Lamont Peterson fight, I really, as I was watching that fight, and Lamont started turning things around, I started thinking maybe Danny it got in his mind after the first 3, 4, 5 rounds that this was the kind of fight this was going to be all night. And when you kind of get into that lull in your mind where, hey man, this is going to be just a slow-paced fight, and this is kind of, we're just going to go through the motions for 12 rounds, and then suddenly it gets, the script gets switched on you, you weren't ready. You know, I felt like Lamont almost lulled to sleep. And so from there, I don't know that Danny would make that mistake again. You know, like, you know, I felt like, you know, I don't know if I'm making any sense. You know, like the pace was so slow early on that you can easily, I felt like I put myself in Danny's shoes and I said, you know what, if I was Danny, I would probably be thinking through 3, 4 rounds. That's it. This is the kind of fight we're going to fight for 12 rounds. So I wouldn't be ready when suddenly the heat got turned up, you know, because if in your mind if you put in your mindset that that's the fight is going to be, and then things switch, and you kind of get caught sleeping. So I felt like maybe it was learning experience for Danny. But as far as from the stylistic point of view, yeah, I mean, I like the way my boxing skills match up to his. I mean, I'm sure there's things he feels he can do to me as well, and that's kind of why we get in the ring. We compete with each other, and you match up skills. But I'm sure both of us have certain advantages over the other that we're both going to try to apply once the bell rings on August 1st.
And one other question for you, Paulie. Before this was billed as a must-win fight for both fighters, but how do you look at that? Do you see that as a must-win situation for you, especially coming off the loss to Sean Porter?
I think it's more must-win for me as far as my own boxing career is concerned. You know, I think there's no question that
my professional boxing career, not my commentating career, to take everything else aside. For the life of my professional boxing career to continue, I feel like this is a must-win for sure. You know, I don't think it's as much of a must-win for Danny as it is for me. I mean, at this level, you always feel like it's must-win because, you know, you're always in the mix for a bigger fight if you can win. So it's always must-win. But in reality, to be really a must-win, I mean, I feel like the burden falls on me more than Danny for it to be that kind of must-win. But it's also nothing new to me. I've been written off before. My career was supposed to end in 2009 when I went to Houston, Texas. I mean, I had just come off the Ricky Hatton loss, and I went to Houston to fight Juan Diaz. And no matter what I said in the press conferences, no matter what I said in interviews, I remember it just went in 1 year out the other for people. And, you know, they just kind of felt like this was going to be the end of my career. And so I had to go in there and prove it myself that it wasn't yet, you know. And so had everybody, if I allowed myself to listen to what everybody says, I would have been long gone a long time ago, because you figure, like, you teach everybody their lessons. And then it happened again in 2012. I got sent to Ukraine. I hadn't really had a big fight in a couple of years, and people just thought I was getting sent to Ukraine as a farewell fight, just to make a little bit of money and be done. And I was surprised that everybody was thinking about me like that again. I was like, wow, these people really don't learn their lessons, you know? And so I went to Ukraine, and I came back with the WBA welterweight title at the time, and I was able to turn things around again in my career. And those are really two key situations, because losses in those two fights would really have erased me from the upper echelon of the sport. So I find myself, again, in this kind of situation. I'm not traveling to anybody's hometown this time. I'm fighting in my own hometown, but it's the same situation. It's kind of the same thing. No matter what I say going into this fight, people are still going to look at it the same way, that I'm the opponent and I'm the guy that Danny beats, and this is my last fight, and this is I'm just taking this for a payday and all this stuff. So if I hadn't already been through this, maybe I would worry about it. I remember in 2009 going to Houston, being kind of worried about it, just, you know, complaining about all kinds of stuff and just not really knowing what I was walking into. I was walking into a dark room, but I'm not walking into a dark room on August 1st. I know exactly what was going on. I know exactly what the rumblings are out in the boxing world, and I know exactly what everybody's saying about the fight. Regardless, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. I go in the gym. I do my work every day. I know my mindset. It's focused. It's ready. And I know I'm going there to do work on August 1st. And nobody's opinion is going to matter when the bell rings. You can't take people's opinions in the ring with you. Again, whether they be good or whether they be bad, nobody's opinion comes in the ring with you. It has absolutely no bearing on who wins each and every single round.
Well, thank you, Paulie. Thank you, Danny.
Our next question is from Carlos Gonzalez with Primera Hora. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. My question is for Danny. Danny, what things have you been able to do this time around doing training that you could not do in the past because you had to make 140?
You know, we added things. We added things to our workout now. You know, we added a lot of, you know, explosive workouts, a lot of agility. You know, a lot of footwork. You know, a lot of things that make me more explosive. Things I couldn't do at 140 because I didn't have the energy for it. But now, you know, the extra weight is really helping me. You know, I'm adding more meals to my day, you know, to make me stronger. Like before, I had to skip meals. You know, I was always still weak. And, you know, we're just adding a lot of things to you know, to get strong for 147.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Our next question is from Mike Wood with The Sweet Science. Go ahead.
Question is for Paulie. Paulie, I do wonder, when you're thinking about this fight and you're training in the gym, do you 100% know how good you're going to be as far as the sharpness and what you have left at 34, or does it remain to be seen and you'll only know on fight night?
You know, what's funny is, like, fight night, you know, you can feel any which way. If fight night winds up, you know, you can have a good camp and sometimes have a bad night. You can have a bad camp and have a good night. You don't know how you're going to be on fight night until you wake up the morning of the fight. But I will say this. I'm having a good camp, and it mainly has to do with the fact that I've flowed from one camp to another. And I've been able to keep working on my skills and keep working on my sharpness. And, you know, my weight has stayed low because of the fact that I've had consistent training, consistent sparring. So, you know, I can't, I mean, I don't think anybody knows for sure, but I will say this, I really like the way I'm feeling right now, and I like the way I like the rhythm that I'm in when I'm in the gym. I like the flow, and we're just gonna try to bring this sharp camp into the fight.
And Paulie, you referenced earlier that you know what people are out there thinking. You and I actually floated this fight to you a couple months ago, and you said, "Yeah, no, I don't think so." Coming off a loss, then you get it. Do you believe that you got the fight because they believed that you were a fated fighter?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't go that deep into thinking it. I just, when I got the call, I was just surprised, and then I got to thinking, like, man, that's a big fight, and obviously any competitor wants big fights and wants to be in the limelight and wants to be on the big stage, I was wondering if I would ever get a chance to fight on this stage again, and so, I was more just surprised than anything else. It wasn't, I didn't really go into thinking as to why I got the fight or why I got offered the fight or whatnot. I think that's more you guys' job. And I'm sure everybody lets me know about it on Twitter and in the media and whatnot, why I've got this fight. And even if I didn't think about it, just seeing what everybody says about it, I kind of get the gist of it, And then again, it's nothing new to me. It's the reason I got offered the fight. It's the same reason I got offered the Juan Diaz fight in Houston in 2009. It's the same reason I got the Vyacheslav Lomachenko fight in Ukraine in 2012. And my confidence comes from me knowing I have the mental capacity to not let that kind of pressure bother me. And I have the mental capacity to just go into my zone and eliminate all the negativity from my mind. Danny said earlier, you would love the media and the fans to love him. Really, I could give a fuck whether anybody loves me or hates me. And I think the body of my work throughout my career, the things I've said, the things I do, shows that I could care less whether anybody loves me or hates me. I go out there to a job. I'm a competitor. I love competing. I love the adrenaline rush of combat at the highest level and testing myself against the best fighters in the world. And that's it. That's why I do this. And I love to fight. I love to see where I'm at. And on August 1st, I'll show myself.
This question is for Danny. Thanks, Paulie. This question is for Danny. Danny, where is Dad Angel Garcia? Some Angel versus Paulie sparring would have been, I think, quite interesting on this call. How is your dad, and where is he at?
My dad's doing good right now. He's at a shop right now. He runs a business. Angel's just being Angel right now. I won't see him till 5 o'clock, so, only the Lord knows what he's doing right now.
All right, maybe you'll mix it up a little bit at the press conference. Good talk. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Be well.
Our final question is from Paul Zanin with Boxing Monthly. Go ahead, Paul.
My first question is Paulie. Hey, Paulie.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm calling all the way from sunny London here. For the records, we love you commentating. So I think your career succession planning route is already set out. So keep doing what you're doing there. Listen, I would say that some of the best work that you have done in the ring is by outfoxing heavy-handed opponents. How much of the old fox are we going to see outwitting again against Danny Garcia?
I mean, I think for the most part, people know Danny's style. People know my style. And we're going to make some adjustments to each other, both as part of the game plan and once we see each other in the ring, the first early round. I can't really tell you exactly how I'm going to play it out until I'm in the ring myself. But yeah, I plan on being the best me possible. I plan on being the sharpest me possible. And right now in training, thus far I felt really good. And so the plan is to flow this training camp into a sharp night on August 1st.
Fantastic, thank you. My next couple of questions are for Danny. Danny, it didn't really come as a big surprise to the boxing world when you decided to make an announcement you're going to move up to welterweight. Your last two fights, one was at 143, one was at 142, and you've had various other fights at the beginning of your career which are around the 144 mark. How long had you been thinking about the move up to welter?
I believe right after the Matisse fight, I wanted to move up. I felt like that was a perfect time for me to move up. Because I beat, two top 140-pounders at that time. I had beat Khan, and then I came back and beat Morales' dad and Matisse. And I felt like, I beat two of the best 140-pounders, so I feel like it's time for me to go to 147. But you know, they had different plans for me. Me and my team, we decided to stay at 140 for a little longer to see how it play out. And, you know, I just wasn't feeling strong at the weight class anymore. I just wasn't feeling strong no more, so I felt like, you know, it was time for me to go up to 147.
Fantastic. My final question is this. The last time I interviewed you was back in 2012, where you just beat Amir Khan, and then you carried on for your last sort of 7-8 fights, undefeated as world champion. Now, moving up to the 147 division and relinquishing your 140 titles, how confident do you feel that you can become a world champion again against the likes of Furman, Kell Brook, perhaps a rematch against Amir Khan?
You know, I'm very confident. You know, I faced a lot of good fighters. I faced a lot of great fighters in my career, and you know, I have a lot of experience. And I was a big 140-pound fighter. You know, I never faced a 140-pound fighter who was taller than me, or who looked bigger than me. You know, so I was just squeezing my body down to 140. And I feel like I'm gonna be a way better fighter at 147. Be able to use my legs more. At 140, I felt like I wasn't strong no more, so I just had to, you know, walk forward all night and knock my opponents out. But I feel like at 147, you're gonna see a more athletic Danny Garcia. Be able to use my legs more, and you know, use my jab more, and see punches clear. You know, when you drain yourself, it's hard to see punches, and you get hit with a lot of dumb punches because your vision is not clear. And I feel like my vision is going to be a lot clearer. I'm going to be able to move my head, see the punches better, use my feet. And I think I'm going to be, you know, a champion at 147 too. I know so.
Fantastic. Danny, Paulie, very best of luck on the 1st of August, and thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us for this PBC on ESPN call. Again, it'll be Danny Swift Garcia against Paulie Magic Man Malignaggi and Danny Jacobs against Sergio Mora in the opening bout at the Barclays Center, August 1, prime time on ESPN, coverage beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and thanks, everybody, for joining us. Hope to see you then.